All right, let's dive right into the white hot center of the AI universe, agentic frameworks. They're promising to build this next generation of autonomous AI, but you gotta wonder, how much of that is just hype and how much is actually real? Well, that's what we're here to find out. I mean, this is the big question, isn't it? It's on every developer's mind. We keep hearing that AI agents are the future, and these frameworks are basically the shortcut to get there. But are they really ready for prime time? Can they handle the messy, unpredictable real world? Because what's happening right now, honestly, it feels like a gold rush. It seems like every single week there's a new framework that drops claiming to be the one that's finally going to unlock true AI autonomy. It's super exciting, for sure. But it's also, well, it's chaotic, and it's really hard to know where to even start. And just to give you a sense of the sheer scale of this, look at this number, 179,000. You know what that is? That's the number of GitHub stars for just one of these frameworks, AutoGPT. The hype is absolutely massive, which makes it even more important to understand what's really going on underneath the surface. So that is exactly what we're going to do. We're putting these frameworks under the microscope. We're going to lean on a really systematic review from IEEE software to, cut through all the noise and really put the hype to the test. Okay, so first things first, let's make sure we're all on the same page. When we say agentic AI systems, this is what we're talking about. These are autonomous things. They don't just wait for a command. They can sense what's going on, they make their own decisions, and they get stuff done. And the really cool part? They can work together. This is a huge leap from just, pre-programmed scripts. And to analyze this properly, the research breaks it all down into 5 key areas. We're looking at how these things handle goals, how they plan and think, their basic architecture, a super important one, how they remember things, and finally, the community and ecosystem built around them. Think of this as our roadmap. So, after all that analysis, what's the big verdict? Well, after digging into 10 of the most popular frameworks out there, the conclusion is pretty clear. This space is incredibly active, but it's also deeply fragmented. And this quote from the paper just nails it. The field is definitely maturing, but that word fragmented is the key. It means there's no consistency. A feature you rely on in one framework might be completely missing in another. For a developer, that's a nightmare. So let's zoom in on those fragments, on those gaps. It's time to take a much closer look at the cracks that start to show up when you actually try to use these things for real-world, production-level work. The first huge weakness that shows up almost everywhere is immature memory. Think about it. An agent that can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago is, well, it's not very useful, is it? It's the difference between having a quick chat and actually working together on a long-term project. And right here, you see this massive divide. A lot of the simpler frameworks, they're basically stateless. The agent gets amnesia after every single task. Now, the more advanced ones are starting to use things like vector stores and databases for long-term memory, but that is definitely not standard yet. And that creates a huge gap in what they can actually do. All right, the next big weak spot, planning and reasoning. This is all about how an agent takes a big, fuzzy goal and breaks it down into concrete steps. It's the thinking part of the AI agent. And surprise, surprise, we see another big split. The simpler frameworks are very linear. They just follow a rigid, step-by-step plan. The more advanced ones are trying to do something called multi-path planning, which is way more flexible. It lets the agent explore different options. But again, that advanced skill is still the exception, not the rule. And the list goes on. When you look at all the boring but essential stuff you need for a real production system, the gaps get even bigger. Like, how do you even debug one of these things? Observability is pretty limited. Security often feels like an afterthought. Documentation can be spotty, error handling is all over the place, and whether any of this can actually scale, that is a huge open question. So, look, this quote from the research really just says it all. Despite all the excitement and all the hype, the reality is that most of these frameworks are still pretty immature. The core pieces, like memory and planning, are often basic. And that whole ecosystem you need to run them reliably, it's just not there yet. So all of this, all these gaps and inconsistencies, it brings us to the real punchline of this whole analysis. It means we really need to shift our perspective on how we're approaching this technology. You know, the first question pretty much everyone asks when they see this gold rush is, okay, so which framework should I use? And that seems like the most logical place to start, right? You have a problem, you need a tool, you pick a tool. But here's the twist. Based on all this evidence, that is absolutely the wrong question to be asking right now. It's putting the cart way before the horse. You're jumping to a solution before you've even fully understood the problem and before the solutions are even fully ready. The real question, the one this research really forces us to confront, is this. Do I even need a complex, heavyweight agentic framework right now? Or is the rush to grab the latest shiny object actually making my life harder, not easier? So what's the big takeaway here? The recommended approach is, well, it's refreshingly practical. Number 1, start simple. Use the tools you already know and have. Number 2, really understand what your system needs. What level of memory or planning does it actually require? And then number 3, only think about adopting a framework when your problem is so complex that you genuinely need one and you've made sure that framework can actually deliver. And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. In this crazy, frantic gold rush to adopt the newest, coolest framework, is it possible that our excitement is actually getting in the way? Is it preventing us from building the simpler, more robust, and more reliable solutions that we could be building today? It's definitely something to think about.